Hello and welcome to the last ServiceNow Developer Meetup for this year. And today we have Mika Jämsen from ServiceNow with us to talk about the App Engine. But first, just briefly, let me remind you of what the ServiceNow Developer Meetup is all about. It is a forum for ServiceNow developers where we can share knowledge, experience, or have discussions around the ServiceNow platform and doing configuration and development. This is not typical sales presentations or brief information about the processes and what it can do for the users. This is about technology, and we aim to dive a bit deeper into the technology. So this is a forum for you, and feel free to ask questions, share your experience, and let us all together be even better at what we do. My name is Lars-Åke. I've been working as a consultant in the IT service management area for more than 20 years now, and more than 10 of these years have been around the ServiceNow platform as a solution architect, and I currently am employed by Axians in Stockholm, Sweden. One of my highlights is that I was a speaker at the ServiceNow Knowledge Conference in Las Vegas in 2019, and I love sharing, so I organize these ServiceNow developers meetups. My focus as an architect is to design solutions that are cost efficient during its whole life cycle, not only the implementation project. It should also be cost efficient to maintain and operate, and to do future transformation as the business the application supports transforms. One of my designs that I'm most proud of is the global Skanska environment that is a pretty advanced and really flexible ServiceNow environment. But that's enough from me, so I leave the floor to Mika Jämsen from ServiceNow and say welcome.
Thank you, Lars-Åke. I'll start sharing my desktop, so you should see my presentation now.
Yes, we do.
Good. I'll start from here. And just like Lars-Åke said, feel free to ask questions, comment at any point. So it is an informal meeting, and I'm happy to be part of this. And yeah, I'll introduce myself. But to start with, I found this quite nice headline for this presentation. So ServiceNow needs you to be a citizen developer with this platform that we have: low code, no code, no hassle code, hopefully no hassle code environment. And with this presentation, I will talk about the App Engine, but I will also introduce you to our kind of new vision of how development in our point of view should be arranged in different organizations going forward. But with that, I need to show this to you because I may say something that's not yet within the product, but maybe in the upcoming releases I will talk about a few words about our future roadmap plans as well. But a short introduction about me. I have a slightly less experience in ServiceNow than Lars-Åke. I have about 7 years experience starting from Knowledge 14 in San Francisco. I host a local meetup group here in Helsinki area. And yeah, I'm really interested in developing on this ServiceNow platform. And the logos that you see here on the right-hand side, they are companies that I used to work for, just to mention a few. But the things I kind of plan to talk about today, first of all, the App Engine itself. So what's it all about? I know I looked at your previous meetings and agendas there. I understand that you are pretty advanced group of people, and you know pretty well already ServiceNow as a platform. I saw you had even a hands-on session at some point. But even so, I will talk about what App Engine is today. Maybe a few words, what's it going to be in the upcoming releases. Then I'll talk about the developer program, what's in it for you, and then about this new paradigm of citizen developer. So what is it that may change within the near future going forward? But with that, let's dive into App Engine. So I know you are well aware of the ServiceNow platform, but the difference starting early next year is that next to the existing official workflows like IT workflow, employee workflow, and customer workflow, we will have a fourth official workflow. It says here App Engine. The final name hasn't been decided yet, but the name probably will have the word workflow in it. It will probably have a word creator in it. So let's see what the final name will be. But for your information, starting from the next release, which is the Quebec release, we will have 4 official workflows on top of Now platform. Good. With that, App Engine is the place to go and develop your most innovative solutions that you may have with rich user experiences, the consumer grade experiences, and of course with the trust from the platform that it will scale up if needed. It has all the security features built in already. So it is a good place to develop applications and especially leveraging the existing capabilities of the platform. And this has not gone unnoticed by the industry analysts. Here's just the latest Magic Quadrant from Gartner, naming a few leaders in this low-code application platform area. But that's analyst stuff. So if we look at what has been developed, at least lately, these are some nice examples. For instance, from City of Los Angeles, but for you, there's a nice example from a Swedish government organization. I believe this is a Stockholm area COVID testing application that was developed in really rapid time, and the results are amazing in terms of this rapid development and use of this new application. And talking about innovation, I know something about the Skanska systems as well. So Skanska has this very innovative application on, I believe it was a warranty claim for new apartments that may have something in them.
Yes, that's great.
Okay, good. We can talk about that later. Yeah, but just a few examples of innovations on top of ServiceNow platform. And of course, this is very special time that we live in, and we need this really fast, these applications. And we did fast development by ourselves. So when this COVID pandemic started early this year, we developed these emergency response applications. Really, just a few developers, 1 2-week sprint from the concept to production, general availability, and at the moment about 6,000 installs by our customers. So just an example how rapid this development can be. And here you have a few good reasons also. The speed of development, the experiences that we have, and trust from the platform itself. Not to go in too much into that kind of marketing talk. I just want to more like introduce to you to the different capabilities that we have within App Engine. So starting with this user experience, how do you want to present your application to your user base, to your end users? Does it have, for instance, portal pages, or maybe the mobile platform? Mobile is really nice. I'll talk about that later. Maybe a virtual agent in there as well. Workflow and integration. So the flow designer for creating the business logic, and the integration hub for different kind of integrations. Intelligence capabilities, machine learning, natural language understanding, performance analytics, they are all actually they are all included nowadays within the App Engine license, so you can utilize these within your special applications as well. And then there are our development environments, all the way from no code to pro code. And if we look at the different user experiences, so probably these are pretty familiar to you, but anyways, service portal and service catalog, so you can present the way your end users would like to see the services, the information that you want to bring to them. And just to highlight the fact that you could have really multiple portals for different audiences, for instance, for different purposes, for different use cases. So no need to just stick to one single monolithic portal like some customers do. Knowledge management also for your special applications, so you can document what is it that your service is all about, give your users information about the tasks, the cases that you are handling. And then the kind of new back-end user interface, the workspace interface. So you can create a nice intuitive way of working at the back end for your fulfillers of the process users. And then the virtual agent capabilities. So you can, if you want to provide this experience to your users, you can define the chat, the conversation, how it goes, and the virtual agent then can react to the ongoing conversation with the end user. So those are available for you to create the user experience. For the business logic side, we have the flow designer. You may have had experiences with this or the earlier version of this business process workbench editor. But in flow designer, you can use basically plain English language, some logic applied in there if you have approvals, or you may want to cut some parts of the process via, for instance, automation. Or if you need to call to some third-party systems, the integration hub is there for you. And we have a quite large number already, those pre-built integration spokes, which you can browse through at the store to see what's in there already. But just to mention that you can create your own integration hub spokes if there's, let's say, something exotic that you want to call out from this business logic. So that's business process. And then going into the intelligent capabilities. So what you see here, the KPI composer, the key performance indicators, they are part of performance analytics. And here you can see how different indicators are built up from the data that they consume all the way to the actual widget that presents that data. The predictive intelligence capabilities are also available to you, but obviously this requires some, let's say, mass of records or cases within your application before you can apply this, because it requires the machine learning capabilities. They need a certain set of records in order to learn from those records and then start to predict based on that. But having said that, that's also available to you if there's a opportunity to automate using machine learning capabilities. Virtual agent designer and natural language modeler. So the conversations, but also the natural language understanding. So you can teach the model like certain expressions that how your end users typically ask for something, whether it's information, whether it's a request for some services or things like this. So you can create a language-based model within the virtual agent as well. And for us in the Nordic countries, we are all of course interested in the language support that we have for the NLU. And I can't promise you anything, but looks like that we will have both the Swedish and Finnish language supported sometime next year. So let's say it could be as soon as Q1 next year, but it could be Q2, maybe Q3 next year. But no commitments there, just for your information that it's coming.
So Mike, I have one question over here. So
Yep.
the previous slide, if you can just go back to the previous slide. So I just want to understand the capability that we have in Paris, the process automation designer. Will that fit over here, or is it somewhere else? We should get that thing.
Yeah, so the process automation designer is a new capability within Paris, and it is actually built on top of Flow Designer. So in the end, it's about the Flow Designer underneath the process automation designer. So it is a different kind of way of defining the business process. You have certain steps, you have certain actions within that business process. And yes, if you are already on Paris version, feel free to use that. I encourage that. It's lots even more simple to use than the Flow Designer currently is. And by the way, that works in conjunction if we go to the experiences part, just a sec. So these workspaces, they can then consume that process automation design and present that playbook within here in the workspace. So your agents that are working within this process, they can immediately see where they are within the process that has been defined. by Process Automation Designer. But yes, good comment that there is this new way of defining the business logic as well.
Oh, okay. So I have worked on that process automation designer. I'm working on that. So just want to highlight that if it should be there or not.
Yeah,
So thank you for.
it should be there. Should be there. Yes, it is in the press release. Yes, and we are developing it further. Thanks for pointing out.
Okay.
For the development environments, here you see some examples. For instance, Guided App Creator is really nice, really handy to get started with your application development. If you haven't, go try it out. I'll present the resources for that. Then within Studio, we have also the Mobile Studio with applet templates. So you can configure the native mobile application that ServiceNow has and the capabilities within that application. And that's really handy. You can access the device capabilities of your mobile smart device, like camera, like location information, for instance, and take that as a part of your process. Then we have the UI builder with visual components. So this is the place where you can develop those workspaces for your backend users. But just for your information, going forward, this UI builder will be capable of creating also those portal pages that you are showing to your end users. That's something that's coming up. Good, and then we have a number of companies that are providing their services via store. So go to store.servicenow.com to see what kind of applications, what kind of solutions our partner companies have developed and put out there for anyone to install on their own ServiceNow instance. And here's as kind of recap, this is what you have within or on top of ServiceNow platform. So the Flow Designer, Integration Hub, Mobile Studio, as well as the ServiceNow Studio for actually developing the applications, Service Portal to give your end users a view on your application, Workspace UI, Virtual Agent for chatbot discussions, Performance Analytics for process analysis, Predictive Intelligence, machine learning capabilities in there, Guided App Creator to get you started, Automated Test Framework. I noticed you had a session on this before, Delegated Development. So how do you handle the development processes? And then obviously the Studio where you can develop these things. Maybe just comment on the roadmap that we have. We will make a significant investment in this area here. So for the people that are starting to develop on ServiceNow platform, you will see new capabilities in Quebec release, which will get you even further kind of a jump start into developing on ServiceNow platform. And we will introduce something that's called App Engine Studio in Quebec release, but stay tuned for more information on that. And here I just have you the platform as well as the capabilities for App Engine that we have on the platform. This is just for your reference, a bit too busy slide anyways. But good, with that, I will move on to our developer program. Feel free to ask a comment on the previous or this one. For developers, our program includes different parts like learning part. We have the Now Learning site where you can look at the different courses, study, get yourself certified in certain areas, basically learn how to build. Then we have the build capabilities. So you can request your personal instance, start building on that. That's basically just another ServiceNow instance. Of course, it's not, the performance is not quite on the production level, but having said that, the capabilities are there. So whatever you decide to build on your developer instance is it is possible to take that into your test environment, into your production environment. And lastly, you can engage with the community, with your peers in a meetups like this, for instance, but the community is of course there as well. So to get started, go to developer.servicenow.com, get your developer instance, and you can start doing all kinds of development stuff within your own personal instance. And then we have the training capabilities. So the developer program and developer learning. Here you see just an example of a course that we are providing from there. And then I just listed some links and pages for you to start, go over there, see what's available for you. And then on top of this, just something to highlight, we have quite extensive series in YouTube for ServiceNow developers as well. So we have guys like Chuck Tomasi there showing how you can develop various things within ServiceNow, just for your information. Then just some additional references directly to the Builder series. So that's kind of the citizen development capabilities. And there's a kind of a companion book. This is by Chuck Tomasi, the No-Code Apps for Dummies. Quite nice reading as well. Training certification, community, obviously. And then the Tech Byte podcasts. Quite nice stuff in the podcasts as well. So that was briefly the ServiceNow developer program. Then I'd like to introduce you to this new kind of paradigm or kind of way of thinking that how can we scale up the development, because the need is growing. We need a lots more applications going forward, and we need them faster than we used to have. So what we typically had was that we had pro developers like you. Most of you probably are pro developers, but these pro developers, they are quite scarce resource, so they are not in great numbers to be have within the organization. And there's only so much that these pro developers can develop at any given time. So a few applications, but given the new trend that organizations, companies, they need a lot more applications today. So that's why we see a bigger trend for this, and also we are reacting to this trend. So for this need, we need something that's called line of business citizen developers, as well as low-code developers. So people who understand the business area but also they have some basic capabilities in developing new processes on top of ServiceNow. And in fact, if we take a look at who would be like really ideal person to introduce this to, so someone who obviously knows the business area, so domain expertise. At least to me, this is very, very key, so that they understand what is it that their business is doing, what is that their business is needing. Somewhat tech savvy, well, yes, basic IT information is enough. Spreadsheets would be good stuff if they know that. But then having, of course, some interest in building the new processes, maybe digitizing the existing manual processes. IT partnership, meaning that, of course, we need some support from the IT department in order to support these people in their efforts to build new small applications fast. And then guardrails. So what we don't want to have is that people start just creating randomly new applications. We need some guardrails. We need blueprints so that we and the citizen developers, they work towards the same goal. So not just like randomly start developing something. But what is it that these citizen developers could then start building? It could be something for employees, just an example here, time of request, work assignments, interview feedback, just to give you a few ideas what these small applications could be. They could be towards your partner companies, like promotion, participation, routine maintenance, inspections, of course, depending what kind of business you're in. It could be towards your customers. So appointment booking, service delivery, work orders, basically whatever. And also something to highlight here, with App Engine, you can create both use cases for your internal people as well as for your external people. So it could be like external to your company, the customers, the partners, whoever might be participant in your business process. You can take those as part of your citizen development efforts. What citizen development is not, it's not about automating bad workflow. So if you have, let's say, inefficient way of working within your company in some processes, for instance, automation doesn't help that at all. If you just take it as is and put it on top of ServiceNow platform, it doesn't get any better. It just shows how bad it is. So we don't want that to happen. So this obviously would be good to have a thought on the processes themselves. If there is, for instance, place for automation, for even machine learning capabilities in there to make it better. So that's our aim. It's also not about building redundant applications. So we don't want to have different departments developing same application over and over again for the same purpose. So that's something that we want to avoid with the governance model that I will talk about soon. And it's also not about creating shadow IT. So we don't want those business departments also to start being their own IT departments and managing IT applications directly within the business areas. So that's why we want IT to be key part of this process. And in our vision, we have this citizen developer framework. And with this, we would like to introduce kind of governance approach, if you like. So starting from the ideation itself. So you could have your employees, your partners, maybe your customers submitting idea. So if you're familiar with the ServiceNow platform, we have this idea portal capabilities within it. It's actually within the IT business management area, but it's there. So you can have this process to start with. Then you would want to evaluate those ideas, and of course, in tight connection with IT. So for instance, if somebody has a great idea, we need to assess if this has been done before, if this has been presented before, it may be in development already. Then we want to, of course, enable those citizen developers. So we in fact, we have a learning path for citizen developers, and they can even earn a citizen developer badge once they have gone through the training that we provide. Then obviously the development phase, build, test within ServiceNow, having the new capabilities there, already having the guided app creator type of things helping out. And then in the end, of course, deploy into test, into production. And this is, of course, the basic IT service management area of ServiceNow to take these to production in a really controlled way.
Mika, we have a question in the chat that says, do we have any best practices or guidelines on how to set up citizen development for respective users?
Yeah, so first of all, the main idea, of course, would be to have this kind of center of excellence within the organization who would then enable these processes. But for individuals who are interested in this, the key starting point probably would be to go into our citizen developer training paths and see what does it take to develop on ServiceNow platform. And that's probably the best place to start with, enabling individuals within your organization. But of course, all these steps are important so that we don't end up in an unwanted situation.
So Mike, this system is already live, or it is going to be live?
You could say it's live because all these capabilities are within ServiceNow platform already. But having said that, they come from a bit different solution areas of ServiceNow, like this ideation, for instance, that this is part of IT business management. This deployment is part of IT service management. Development is part of the App Engine capabilities that we have. So as a full end-to-end process, no, we don't have this yet in place, but all these capabilities, these individual capabilities, they are already in there, including
we do have these capabilities, but the whole system is yet to be placed. I mean, I work for a partner company, so if they want to go through the process, so it is not live.
Yeah, it's not live. It end-to-end process all the way from enrollment to deployment. It's not live yet. Yeah, you're correct.
Oh.
Yeah, Ravi here again. So I was just asking a question like, let's say we have a set of people who want to start using the citizen development in ServiceNow. So how we can set up their profile in ServiceNow? Like, I know we can use team development, but since we all are administrators, so we are not using that plugin. But if you will go with the idea, okay, let's give them access and then start building something. So how we can start with?
Build on PDIs. That's one of the things that I will always recommend. Explore your PDI, man. Sorry for
Not for
answering.
me. I mean, it's
No, no.
for customers. So we need to maybe is it what you are suggesting? We should ask them to start working on their PDIs.
Yeah, well, that would be like the first starting point, especially within this enable phase. So once they are learning the first steps to become a citizen developer, then the personal development instance would be the best place to practice. And once they are somewhat like experienced with that, then you might want to consider the delegated development capabilities of ServiceNow. And with delegated development, you can give a certain group of people like limited capabilities to your development or test instance, so that they have, well, kind of sandbox where they can do certain things. And for this kind of group of people, you can configure also the level of access. So what is it that they can actually do within that environment? So delegated development is not mentioned here as such, but that would be a key part of this governance as well. So did that answer your question?
Yeah. I mean, I checked in on the documentation. So as you mentioned, is the team development that they suggest, and then rather than giving admin access, we can give a lesser role, lesser privilege, so they
Yes.
can start with.
Yes, exactly. That's the idea. So not admin rights, but some somewhat lower level rights.
And Ravi, will you when you configure that on Studio, na, whenever you are designing any application, so there could be people where you want to give them access to UI policy, right? They just need to design UI policy. So you can there are just switches that you need to enable for that person, so that they can see those things and configure those things on your behalf. So that saves license, but again, it's a delegated environment. So you don't want to give complete admin access to all the developers. So that is the whole concept behind delegated development.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned licensing. In development and test environment, licensing is typically not a problem, because you can start these activities without having the licenses. But once you take this into production, that's the latest point when you need to purchase the App Engine licenses.
Not by the license, I meant by the access that they get because of the role. I mean, other than the cause that
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
mishaps might happen. So just to avoid those
Yeah.
things as well.
Yes. Good point. Thanks. All right. With that, here you see the capabilities that we provide for the citizen developers, pretty much the same that we saw before. But like I said, we are putting a lot of development efforts into this area to make it even easier for these citizen developers to start building within their own business area. And this might have an impact also on you as a ServiceNow professional. It may be that your role will be a bit more like a consultant role for these citizen developers, not so much creating yourself. But that's just an idea for you to consider, and if this is a trend that will affect your organization at some point. Good. Top takeaways citizen development program, um, really important that you formalize this, have those guardrails in place. I like this encourage innovation really a lot, because this enables the people within the business areas to really be innovative and provide their own ideas, maybe even implement their own ideas going forward. Deliver quick wins. Well, that's what we all want to see, that these applications start emerging quickly. We get the value really soon from the idea to production. To get started, now learning, there's a citizen developer learning path there already. It's live. Complete the course, get citizen developer badge. By the way, even if you are really experienced, really seasoned pro developer for ServiceNow, this is actually quite nice experience to go through that course. It's not like it's a huge effort for you because you already know ServiceNow, but just get the experience. What does it mean? So I encourage that. And with that, we have time for discussion. Thank you. Questions, comments are welcome.
Well, I'm very delighted to see that ServiceNow continues to do improvements and innovation for developers. And one interesting aspect, this is not a real question, it's more about a bit of thinking on my behalf. For citizen developers, it's very, very easy to create new things, to build things. But I think you also should think about maintainability and transformability, that you could quickly create solutions that works really fine, but that are very hard to maintain or transform. So I think it's important to have this structure, or to formalize citizen development, just as you mentioned, to make sure that the solutions that are made are also easy to maintain and transform in the future. So you don't have a huge cost for operation and maintenance in the future.
Yeah, I agree. And in fact, well, this is kind of our vision going forward as well. We will introduce this concept of application templates, and within a template, of course, there might be different levels of functionality of features already in there, but the idea is that we will also include the best practices that we are seeing already. So what's the right way of configuring workspace? What's the best practice for business logic, like having basic like approval workflows already in there. And that's how we try to kind of have those guardrails or blueprints, if you like. And of course, maintainability is one of the key aspects of the best practices. And just to mention, these templates, they will be delivered via our store. So they are not part of the major release once the Quebec comes out, but instead the capability is there, and those templates, they will be delivered via ServiceNow store.
So Mike, over here, can I provide a suggestion? I mean, based on other tools, other platform that you're doing on the same approach, or they have already achieved that thing. So what Google has done is, I've been organizing Google meetups in the past, so I can provide you with that thought, that what they have done is, just a program like this citizen developer, they have a program, but what they have done is they have empowered those citizen developers with a uh, access to certain people, I mean certain individual that can resolve their doubts, or they can guide them uh, on a maybe on a regular basis or a monthly basis. And Google very smartly uses their dev MVPs or community MVPs to help in this manner, because they can connect with the people easily. Developer MVPs are usually the people who are connecting with the people in a better manner, or they are able to achieve to the client people, the new upcoming developers in a better manner. So they would be able to guide them. So they shouldn't be part of ServiceNow, or they can be part of ServiceNow, but uh, the practice that what Google is following, I can tell you about that. And same practice is followed by Microsoft and Salesforce as well. So what they are doing, they are just providing the suppose Lars want to develop an app and he wants to be a citizen developer. He has an idea and he wants some clarification, right? Whether this would be a better approach, or should I use flow designer, or should I go for workflow editor, or whatever could be my doubts. So instead of writing for everything, they can just connect with that person one to one.
Hmm.
Maybe a dev MVP can be connected to 10 people or 20 people, because you won't require that much time. He needs to spare around 20 minutes per person or half an hour weekly. So
Yeah.
in that way, that could be much more effective and could speed up the process as well. So that's my viewpoint. That's
Yeah, it is a really good point and comment. Um, Obviously, of course, the community is there, the developer side also to some extent, but just like you described, at the moment we don't have that kind of direct connection to these MVPs within development. But yeah, that's a good idea. Hoping that community will develop into that kind of direction.
yeah,
Of course.
not in community, but if someone see community, if it is there in the community, I can post those questions, okay. But if someone is coming out of the ServiceNow background, he might not know about the community, or you might tell him, but he won't be able to use it in that efficient way in the beginning itself. And the core idea of citizen development program, the main functionality resides at the initial stage itself, right?
Mm,
So at that point, if he has someone who can build him, who can provide him the confidence, or who can guide him at the initial stage, that would be great. I mean, I have seen people in my country, in India. I have guided many folks to get them on board on the ServiceNow platform. They are like domain experts, like in finance domain or in marketing domain. So they really like the platform, since like Chuck is doing regular sessions on how to quickly build an apps on ServiceNow. So we were seeing them, so they usually ping me for these kind of things. So when you mentioned that citizen developer program, I'll definitely ping them up about this. But the it's this program is always about the confidence that you provide to those consultants, or to, if you want to utilize their experience, because for them it would be a switch of technology for them, right? They are working from that location. So
yeah,
at
yeah,
that point, that thing I feel that would be more important.
yeah. I like the idea, and if you take it step further, maybe those MVPs they could even access, for instance, the individual's personal development instance if they have one. If they don't have one at the very early stages of their idea, maybe that MVP then could provide them with an instance and maybe have something already
Exactly.
built there.
If they,
Yeah,
if they even couldn't provide the access to instant, they could guide them that, boss, you need to go to developer portal, just sign up with your email ID. This is what you need to do. Here you can get the PDI. As in PDI gets hibernated, right? So that is for me when I started ServiceNow. So it was like I was a bit confused what to do at that time. So suppose if I have someone who could guide me in that manner, I can
yeah,
just point to that person. So
Yeah.
That would
Yeah.
be really beneficial.
Yeah. I like the idea. That's really good. Good idea. Yeah. Like it. Thanks. Anything else?
Well, I guess security is an issue when developing new applications. So you need to be careful that you don't leak sensitive data or information by accident. So again, I think a framework or guidance is proper to solve security concerns.
Yes. Yes. Good point. Obviously, to start with, all of these new applications on ServiceNow, by default, they are within their own scope. So they are scoped applications. And this gives you already some security features. And if you take it to even to a higher level, you can have what's called like local admin for this scoped application. So let's say that it has some sensitive information in it that not even a system administrator is not supposed to be seeing. You could then have this local application admin enabled, and after that, not even the sysadmin can access that data within the scoped application. So there are these features that you can apply in order to kind of harden even the scoped application itself. But yeah, that's definitely something that needs to be reviewed at some point of the development process.
All right, time's up. Thank you everyone for attending this ServiceNow Developer Meetup, and thank you, Mika, for a very interesting topic and a great presentation.
Thank you.
So, thank you everyone, and have a nice
Thank you.
day.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.